What's up, YouTube? Sad day today. I sold the nuke-proof Giga. You know, I'm gonna miss that bike. It was fantastic. But on the other hand...
Do you want to see something super cool that only 3 people have ever seen in their lifetime?
Ta-da! New bike day, everybody. I know it was new bike day like 8 months ago. And before that, it was probably like 6 months ago. After that. So, new bike day again.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Santa Cruz Bronson. It is the carbon, it is the R kit, and it also is in the mixed wheel, the mullet. Badass bike. So, I know you may be asking why I sold the Giga. It was a newer bike, it was 2021. This is the 2022. Why do you need to? Well, so I've been riding around 2 years now, over 2 years. I started off with the Scott Aspic. It was a 29er hardtail, 120. It was a cross-country hardtail. And I had a blast. That's what made me fall in love with mountain biking. It was honestly a blast to ride. I got that bike stolen. Well, I didn't get it stolen. It got stolen, but I did leave it out. So technically, I feel like I did leave it to get stolen. I don't know. Maybe subconsciously I didn't. Nevertheless, I went and I bought it was a Hawk Hill. It was a Marin Hawk Hill, but I think now they're called the Redesigned 27.5. It was a trail bike. It was 130 in the front, 120 in the back. Very fun, poppy bike. It was in a size small. All the bikes I've bought are size small. Sorry.
Mighty Mouse! He's off.
So like I said, all my bikes have been size small. I have gone from a 1140 wheelbase from the Hawk Hill, the trail bike, to the Giga, which is a 1205, to this, which is 1180 if I'm not mistaken. You'll see it in the video. So this is the happy medium that I wanted. This is it has a wider wheelbase for that downhill descents. But at the same time, it's not too intense where it's almost not the most comfortable doing anything else besides descending on. Even though the Giga climbed and everything was fantastic, I cannot complain about it. This is a lot more comfortable. What it does have, honestly, it has the shortest reach, the 420, which is actually really comfortable because I usually have 780 bars. These are 800. They come like the factory. They asked if I wanted to cut them, which is another great service they do. Or maybe every bike shop does it, but I really like them anyway at the path. But being that it's 20 millimeters shorter, I actually feel pretty good at the 800 millimeter, bar length until I start riding trails where my hands are getting hit on the sides or they seem more narrow. I wouldn't mind leaving them as is. The reason why I went to the Giga is because in the Rift Zone or the Hawk Hill, honestly, I was doing a lot of jumps and a lot of features that I probably didn't know how to do correctly, and so because of that, the suspension was what honestly was saving me. I would do a jump, land nose heavy or rear tire or front tire heavy. I would blow through the suspension and then get bucked at the end. So then I figured if I'm gonna take these risks, and one day I might want to do an enduro race, I'll buy an enduro bike. Being the market that it was, the Giga was just released, and I was like, there's no other bikes really, so I bought it. And it was fantastic. It was a Zeb up front, Super Deluxe in the back. It was a 38. The thing was burly. It was beefy of a bike. I mean, I took it to my local trails around here, and it ate up everything. It did feel more like almost how people describe a 29er. Like it felt like it was a point and shoot. Not too nimble. It was hefty. And I would ride my friend's nuke-proof Mega, and I was like, man, this is what I like. This nimbleness, this poppiness that you get from this bike. And I figured, honestly, I was probably running too much suspension. 180 was probably way too much for anything I need here locally, or even an enduro race was pretty hefty here in California at least. And so then I started looking into maybe I want to do more of an all-mountain bike, and that way I have the travel to do the parks, the flow, the climbing. I can still do anything here locally in California. I can still do enduro races, and at the same time, I can still have fun and feel that poppiness, that nimbleness, that agile that I was really missing when I rode my friend's Mega. And so hence, the Bronson. A little twist with the Bronson this year in 2022, they went with the mixed setup. So this has always been their, when in doubt, take the Bronson out, it's been their saying. They have one below this that's more poppy. I guess they call it Jivvy or something like that. And then they have the Nomad, which is essentially like how the nuke-proof Giga, I bet, felt. It's hefty, it's burly, it can go through everything. You can climb with it, but you're gonna have to pay a little bit because of a heavier bike. So what they did is they went with an all-mountain bike, the Bronson. They made it a mixed wheel, which would be at least in theory, it sounds badass. I mean, to have the rollover and increased rolling speed of a 29er in the front and have a 27.5 in the back, left to that nimbleness, that flickability that the 27s are known for, along with a lot lighter of a bike than I'm used to, because now it has 160 up front and 150 in the back, which is pretty good for an all-mountain bike. Other brands like YT, I think the Jeffy, I don't really know what it's called. That one has, I believe, 150 in the front for the 29-inch version. So this is 160. Then I was looking at Gorilla Gravity. They make mullets. The Shred Dogs that I was looking at, that had 150 and 140. And then I was looking at the Patrol. No, I couldn't find those anywhere, and I wasn't gonna try to buy a bike without actually trying it. So, but that one actually was the best value of what I was looking at for. I wanted to do a mullet because I think they're super rad, but the Transition Patrol was the best bang for your buck for, I believe, their middle tier, which is GX, and a Zeb 4. It was, I believe, Ultimate, Super Deluxe and Ultimate, which is top of line Zeb. It was like $4,900. Comparison to this being the ARC trim, which is the lowest value trim. So I know you find it hard to believe that I bought a bike in the same day I sold a bike, especially in this crazy ass market of COVID. But I did. I had to call around everywhere. I do watch MTB Alan on YouTube. He did mention a place called The Path Bike Shop in Tustin, here in California, Southern California to be exact. So I looked up their inventory. They're really up to date on their website. They have fantastic customer service. And I called them, and they're they're rad people down there. They love riding bikes. You can see it when I showed up there. Me and my son showed up there. He just loved looking at everything. He's only like 14 months old, but he loved to be able to walk around, and it was just a rad experience and a really great shop. They really fine-tuned the bike for me. They made it go tubeless. They got these sweet pedals to match. I got this nice shirt, the Path Bike Shop. I did get a large, a little bit wide, but you know, if I got a small, then everyone would think I'd wear a medium. So it all goes on the R pump. That's where I do my sizes from. So what I said was they're a fantastic bike shop. They hooked up this bike. They had a pretty damn big inventory of bikes. I didn't see too many of the smaller versions, but they honestly had more bikes than I've seen any other shop have. And what I went with is, as soon as I got on this bike, it felt great. It gave me that feeling of that nimbleness, that poppy feeling, that it just felt lighter. I've never dealt with SRAM before. I've had the Shimano XT and the SLX in all configurations, as in like it was literally Shimano Dior all the way through, and then it was Shimano SLX all the way through. This is my first experience with the SRAM NX. I was a little kind of sad at first actually just reading about it, because I knew that it was their almost lowest end. It has a plastic shifter. It is really good, but essentially it's their lower end. I really wanted to go GX, but I couldn't really front that kind of money to get that GX. But I love it. It shifts smooth like butter. The shifters feel fantastic. The brakes feel fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I do see what they mean by Shimano having a little more bite to their brake, where SRAM has a little more modulation. It has a little more play. Essentially, like when I'm maneuvering the bike a little bit, I do feel like I can control the squeeze a little bit more. I do like Shimano, honestly, a little bit better, because I do like to say when I want to stop, not modulate. But they work great. Fox float in the back, Lyric in the front. For my other bike, it was the Super Deluxe and it was the Zeb, but it was honestly the lowest end trims of it, so I didn't really get compression. All I got was rebound. These are about the medium trim of each one, so I do get the rebound adjustment and I do get compression, which is nice. That's already an upgrade for me. I do feel like it's more agile. I haven't got to test this over some pretty gnarly stuff to see how that 29er really does, but even if it doesn't do anything they say and it still runs as a 27.5 because of the nimbleness, I'm gonna be stoked. I have plenty of travel in the front, plenty of travel in the back. I do feel even better on this bike, because if you guys watched my last New Proof Giga video, I could not get this damn seat post or the dropper to drop any lower than about here, which meant when I popped the drop post up, I would be almost on my tippy toes in the optimal pedal position. When I slam it all the way down, essentially the dropper would be like here. didn't give me much wiggle room to move around my bike and essentially utilize the 27.5, the playfulness of it, because of me being stuck pretty high up on the bike. So having this do this all the way down, fantastic. My hardtail did that. I love that about it. Took it for granted. And great dropper. SDG, that's my first time using them. They're fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I don't believe I haven't read the manual yet. I'm not sure if there's any tokens in either of the shock. I know the Zeb did come with like 2 tokens in there already pre-installed. Not too sure about this. I do love the axles. They are through axles, but they have the quick release, which is really nice because then you don't need the Allen key to get them off. It's 200 millimeter rotors front and back. I am gonna post really quick in the video of what the dimensions of the bike per size, and at least my trim on the model, because everything else you can look up. You can even look up this, but if the video is in 10 years from now, for all easiness at least, I'll put my trim that you see here in front of you on the video now. Welcome back. All right, so let's get you up front and personal with this bad boy. Let's see. So the only thing I did to this bike is, you know how I am with my bikes, I like to protect them as much as I can, so I added some frame protection, just some clear this time. I didn't want to throw off this nice color. I got to work on getting those bubbles out here, underneath there. Any high rub or high impact areas, I really just put the clear protector on. I did get these sweet cranks, Spank. Never used them before. I've always used Chester's. Pretty good spin, not bad. Other than that, I mean, the bike is great. I can't wait to ride it down some more trails. I can't wait to send the gnar or whatever I'm supposed to say at that point. The bike feels great. So as always, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I do read them. If you want to talk about any of the bikes that I've had previously, just let me know. All right, have a rad day, guys.